perfect. Love it. Now, bad news. I've lost access to the script, so I'm going to have to wing it.
All right. Welcome to Consume Content, everyone. Welcome back. We're excited. Why does your mug say queen?
This is
Are you a queen?
Queen Bee. Bee. It's my mother's mug. Anyway.
But you're on a podcast, a video podcast. You're holding up a mug that says queen.
I forgot. Anyway. It doesn't matter.
We're back. We're talking about Shadow and Bone.
No.
It's back, baby. I just found out the second season's coming out tomorrow.
Good. Oh, good. What a great time.
So if you didn't watch that, or if you haven't seen it, or you want to see it, or you did see it and you're still into it, go watch. How come that one doesn't have a thumbnail?
What? Shadow and Bone?
Our Shadow and Bone episode. It's got no
on
thumbnail.
YouTube or on Spotify?
On YouTube.
That's not right.
Anyway, episode 5. Go watch it.
Go watch episode 5 and then go watch the show Shadow and Bone. Okay? Oh, my bones. Anyway.
Today,
what?
Josh.
Matt.
Josh is talking about something.
Josh
is going to teach us
about Ash versus the Evil Dead, which is not the original movie, right? The original movie is just Evil Dead, right? The original Cabin in the Woods horror flick, which then slowly or sort of abruptly over a few films becomes a comedy series and then becomes a TV series that is horror and comedy. And that's what the show is. The show brings back... What's up? I see it.
If that strikes a familiar chord with any of you, if you've got something to say, feel free to share. Join our Discord.
That's right. We have a Discord.
Yell some things at us.
Please at least yell at us. Give us some attention. That's all we can ask at this point.
It's called the group chat. It's linked here. It's linked in your mom's mailbox. It's linked on the chain links of the gates of hell.
I'm sorry that we're in your mom's mailbox. I'm sorry.
It's better than your mom's DMs.
That's gross. That's gross.
I said it's better than that. I didn't say we're doing that.
Don't put that thought. Anyway, so Ash vs. the Evil Dead. If you're not familiar with the Evil Dead, right? It's classic horror, demons possessing people. It's really about demon possession. It's not really zombies. But basically, the original is this paranormal, psychological thriller, cabin in the woods. Group of kids, teenagers, go to the cabin in the woods. They read from the Book of the Dead. They play a recording that is a reading from the Book of the Dead, and they summon the dead. And one at a time, they are all possessed by demons until only one is left, and he has to then kill everybody else. He has to dismember and kill everybody else, including his best friends, his girlfriend, and his sister. And
that's the active...
That's the plot
verb?
of the first film.
But it has to specifically be dismembering his friends?
That's just what happens. Decapitation, dismemberment. You really got to do a lot to a deadite in order to put it down. Because that's what they become. Once a person is possessed by one of these demons, they become a deadite. And just through... What's up?
Are they really good at shooting stuff? Hitting a target?
The deadites? Or Ash?
No,
our hero.
You keep calling them dead eyes. They must be a real good shot.
Not dead eyes. Deadites. You son of a bitch. Anyway.
My experience with this entire series there's a very big gap. I've seen apparently the remake of the original movie, and that's it.
And that's it, which is the remake.
Oh, no. I saw Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3. That's what I saw.
So, Evil Dead, if you don't know, same director. It's how Sam Raimi, the director of all 3 Tobey Maguire Spider-Man films, got his start, right? Got his start with this horror film, with A Cabin in the Woods, where he got his best friend, why am I blanking out? Bruce Campbell, his best friend Bruce Campbell, to act in his movie. He got his other friends to act his movie, and then he had Bruce Campbell kill all the other actors in real life.
I remember something about a Buick.
Yes, there is a Buick in that movie and every Sam Raimi movie since. Sam Raimi puts that Buick in every one of his movies. It's in Multiverse of Madness.
It was so weird seeing Doctor Strange drive from one dimension to the other in an old, 70s Buick.
He does not drive in a car between dimensions. So I think the Buick is actually one of the cars being thrown around in the opening battle with a giant eye monster.
Yeah, something like that. It's like the Pixar pizza truck.
Yeah, it's like the Pixar pizza truck. It's just Sam Raimi's old Buick that he puts in every movie, which is great.
And just like how Bruce Campbell is Sam Raimi's old Buick that he puts in every movie.
I should have pointed out that it's the Buick and Bruce Campbell that he puts in everything he makes. Bruce Campbell is even in some of the Spider-Man video games that are based on those movies.
Yeah, he's the narrator. I remember playing a couple of those games, and I was I don't know what it is. Maybe that's part of why I don't really know much about Evil Dead. I'm tired of Bruce Campbell, and I've barely seen him in anything. I'm just tired of him.
Why? You don't know why. But I remember that Spider-Man 1 tutorial where he narrates and he's going over all the stuff, and he sort of at a certain point he gives you the instructions and he goes, all right, I'm out of here, I'm gonna go eat a sandwich, and then you hear him walk out the booth, the voice recording booth, and then you practice for a while, or there's a transition to the next scene or whatever, and he comes back and you just hear him licking his fingers. He's like, oh, that was good. Ham sandwich. And just a video game tutorial. It's great. But before the world found out Bruce Campbell was hilarious, he was the last man standing against the Deadites in this cabin in the woods.
Is he hilarious?
He is hilarious. How dare you?
I don't know what it is. I'm trying to figure it. That's what you're here to do today, Josh.
To sell the world.
Convince me of Bruce Campbell's value.
His value? Okay. I mean, if you don't understand Bruce Campbell's value, then you're definitely not going to like the show Ash vs. the Evil Dead. Because the character that he's sort of typecasted as in various properties, not just the Evil Dead or Sam Raimi properties, is that he is this lovable buffoon who's a bit of a jackass. He's close to Johnny Bravo. Did you ever like Johnny Bravo?
Nobody likes Johnny Bravo.
Well, he's pretty close to Johnny Bravo in many ways, right? And,
so Burn Notice.
Yeah, Burn Notice. Again, very similar type of character, right? Suave, charming, he's got quips, right? And constantly...
Wait, no! Stop setting me up!
What?
You mean he's got thwips?
Not thwips, quips. He's not Spider-Man, right?
But he's in Spider-Man.
He's in Spider-Man, right? It's 3 different characters, presumably. And what is it? Let me get back to the main topic, which is Evil Dead, right? Evil Dead and Bruce Campbell and Evil Dead. The first movie is a horror movie, right? And then the second movie, still a horror movie, but it becomes more unhinged and becomes more bizarre, even for a movie about spirits possessing people, right? And the thing to know about Evil Dead 1 and 2 is that Evil Dead 2 is a remake and an extension of the first movie because Sam Raimi lost the rights to the original Evil Dead and essentially had to remake the movie. And in that first movie, it's just Bruce Campbell having to kill his friends and family in order to survive. And then in Evil Dead 2, he has to kill his friends and family in order to survive. But then he chops his own hand off because his hand is possessed, which also happens in the first movie. His hand becomes His hand becomes possessed, and he has to fight his own hand.
How does your hand become possessed?
You got to watch the movie.
But not you.
It's like a bite. I think they bit his hand, and then.
Is that how? The Addams Family, what's it called?
That actually makes perfect sense.
Is that how that happens?
That could be how that happens.
Because is there a crossover?
You never know with the Addams Family, but that he does have to cut his hand off, right? The only problem is that we know that this one is not a thing, because this hand then grows into another Bruce Campbell, an evil doppelganger.
Wait, no, that's Deadpool.
No. This is that also happens in Deadpool, but this is there's handless, there's missing right hand Bruce Campbell, and then there's another Bruce Campbell grown out of that right hand.
We're getting into a Ship of Theseus kind of thing.
Exactly, right?
Which one's the original Bruce
Which
Campbell?
One's the original? Which one's real? Right? But the second one is just a little bit more unhinged and then becomes a little bit more pulp, because he then, in the second one, he doesn't just lose his hand, he then replaces his hand with a chainsaw.
Oh, God. Okay. Uh-huh. Let's go back before, please. Let's move off of Bruce Campbell.
Okay. Well, he's the star of the show. Yeah.
I don't understand. I still don't understand the appeal. You're right. I should just watch it. I've too many people in my life. Whenever they hear Evil Dead or Ash, they light up, and I never got it. You included.
Yeah. It's just that evil. Well, go on.
I think it's my negative proclivity towards Bruce Campbell.
Maybe
somehow developed, but no. Okay, we should go back then and start from the first two movies, because wait, were those were Sam Raimi too?
Yeah, those were Sam Raimi. The first two movies
were all
were
Sam Raimi.
Pretty much, yeah. He also did Army of Darkness, and then he did not do the TV series, but that happened like way later. They sort of got his blessing to do the TV series, and it was more like Army of Darkness than the original two, because it's the original two are very important in the horror genre, especially like the first one. It's really hard to watch. Right? That first one, especially back then. Nowadays, not so much, but back then it was really hard to watch. It was considered extremely scary, extremely gory, right? And
yeah, but so was The Exorcist in its time.
Exactly, in its time, right? And so then the second movie, like, I would watch, if you didn't want to watch the first one, you sort of don't have to watch the first one, because the second one is a remake of the first one. Because, again, he lost the rights to that movie, and he had to remake it. And then he extended the story in the second one to sort of show other things happening, right? And that movie... What's up?
Yeah, I feel like... Because you were saying it's such an important series for horror movies. But I feel like it just kind of has to be.
Yeah.
With a name like Evil Dead.
Yeah.
It's not just evil. It's not just dead. It's Evil Dead.
It's Evil Dead. Like, it's really weird how, like, it is still entirely unique, but like a staple of the genre, like an original of the genre, something that did a lot of things fresh. And
I get the feeling that it took gore and like pain and suffering to a new level. It kind of stood out. Sort
of, but not necessarily. It really was like tension that it brought. Like, if you watch that original movie, it's Sam Raimi's signature style, right? So if you watch any of the Spider-Man movies, right, and you pay attention to that camera work, you'll see it in the Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2. Like, and Army of Darkness. You'll see the way the camera moves and the way it flies and the way the camera behaves.
I don't understand that. How does that translate to comic book movies?
Okay, so I'd have to pull up specific scenes, right? Because Sam Raimi was still doing this stuff even in Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness, right? It's just the way he uses the camera that is super effective, right?
And I believe you. I just obviously I haven't seen the Evil Dead movies, so I don't have anything to compare it to. But it just seems so strange that you can tell it's either one of those movies is Sam Raimi.
Yeah,
they're just such different movies.
You're right. They're very different movies, but it's, for example, in the original Evil Deads, then they don't ever show you the spirits or the demons. They only show you the demons when they have a physical form, which is typically when they've possessed somebody, right? Otherwise, the camera is the demon. So you'll see the camera will move through the forest, and you'll be zooming at the cabin, but that's because the camera is the demon heading towards the kids in the cabin. And that's sort of the perspective change and sort of feel. And then the way, like, it's not necessarily that Evil Dead is the goriest or even the scariest, right? Or even the most edgy, right? It's just a matter of, because I can't even compare it to, I'm confident there was stuff older than Evil Dead that was gorier. But Evil Dead was just weird.
Yeah, Monty Python.
Yeah, Monty Python was very gory. That bunny? Oh my god, that bunny. And so
the Black Knight
spurts,
just fonts of blood.
Yeah. But it's really about, like, sort of the effectiveness of all of those elements in the film. And
how do you watch these?
What do you mean?
I mean, you're not like,
I hate horror. Yeah, I hate horror.
Yeah, so how do you watch these? How have you seen all these movies?
Like, I'll tell you what I hate, right?
God damn it, it's Bruce Campbell, isn't it?
No, it's not Bruce. It's not just Bruce Campbell, because here's the thing. In the original movies, barely words are barely spoken in the original movies because things are happening and not much is said, right? And I'm mixing up events in my mind over which things happened in which movie, but the thing about the Evil Dead mainly, it's that it was a psychological horror on top of anything else, right? And that progressed into blood and gore and then would switch between the two. But, like, what I hate in horror is I hate jump scares and I hate small cuts. Anything to do with small knives, filleting of the skin, peeling of the nails. I hate that stuff. I just hate that stuff. It's like, I hate it.
Did you watch Black Swan?
No, I didn't want to watch because somebody told me that happens. And I'm like, I'm not watching that movie now. Like, it's like, I can feel, I'm aware of my nails now after saying it. Like, ugh. So that's the sort of stuff I hate. Like, I love pulp horror. If it's like ridiculous amounts of blood and gore, it's fine. Dismemberment, fine, right? Bit of psychological horror, fine. I just can't handle jump scares, and I can't handle like
small cuts,
like really like close in torture. I just can't deal with it, right? Paper cuts. Oh,
how did you watch Everything Everywhere All at Once?
I kept my eyes closed during that part. Like,
we watched that together.
I closed my eyes and covered my ears because I couldn't I'm thinking about it now and I hate it.
Hey, he won an Oscar for that.
He did, and he deserved it. But oh my god, I'm aware of the gap between the space between my fingers just thinking of it. I hate it so much.
So if your life depended on it, you needed to do that to propel you to the other version of yourself to get the sumo powers.
I would figure something else out. I'm like, give me a different one. I'd rather jump on a dildo than do that.
Oh god. Hey, it was a butt plug.
It was a butt plug, whatever. And so, or an award. What was it? Yeah, it was one of them was an award, right? They just looked like a butt plug.
They were all awards.
Oh my god. Anyway, where was I at? So yeah, so Evil Dead progressed from this psychological horror to this pulp horror to this then like basically pulp comedy, right? And it happens from Evil Dead 1, Evil Dead 2 to Army of Darkness.
You keep saying the word pulp, and now it's kind of lost meaning in my head. Okay. How are you using it? What are you using pulp to refer to?
So define pulp.
Because I already have a poor relationship with pulp. I like my orange juice smooth.
Same. Okay, so Pulp Fiction definition. I'm mainly using it like Pulp Fiction, right? About imagining characters.
But then there's the movie Pulp Fiction, so that seems to confuse things.
Yeah, but Pulp Fiction is like, again. So here's the definition, right, by CambridgeDictionary.com. Books about imaginary characters and events produced in large quantities and intended to be read by many people, but not considered to be very good quality, right? So almost like corny, campy, that sort of thing, you know. That's the ironic thing about the title Pulp Fiction for the movie Pulp Fiction, because it's anything but Pulp Fiction, you know. Which then in turn becomes Pulp Fiction. Whatever, it's a weird thing.
God damn it! No, he's only made 10 movies.
Yeah, I know, but he makes
9.
He's making his 10th, right? And people are worried about it. And I think it's called The Movie Critic or something, is what I heard.
I'm pretty sure he said he's gonna make more. So
yeah, well, he said he was gonna like do theater instead. Like he was just gonna pick a different medium, right?
Oh no,
which makes the most sense. But
can we get him on our podcast?
Oh, that'd be great, wouldn't it? But he's a weird guy.
You know a guy, right?
I don't know a guy. But yeah, it's Quentin Tarantino is like, yeah, he only makes 10 movies so that way they can be really good, but that doesn't mean he isn't targeting as many people as possible, right? He has an eye for quality, but we're not talking about him, right? So Evil Dead, the original 1 and 2, right, were very specific, very genre, highly genre, right? And then the more wacky it becomes and the more comedy it becomes, the more pulp it gets, like the wider appeal there is, right? So which sort of tracks with the success of the films, right? So like the first two are cult classics, the third one's a cult classic but has just broader appeal. There's literally like a Three Stooges eye poke joke like in that one, in the third one, Army of Darkness, because it's so wacky. And so the way it tracks is there's Evil Dead, right? Just horrible shit happens, right? Evil Dead 2, it's a remake of 1, horrible shit happens, but then Ash loses his fucking mind. He is just loses his mind. He starts laughing maniacally at a certain point. He replaces his missing hand with a chainsaw. He's lost his mind.
Why is his name Ash? Is his name Ashley?
His name is Ashley, yeah. His name is Ashley Williams. And moving forward, right, at the end of 2, he gets sucked into a portal. And that's sort of like the cliffhanger ending, right? And then at the beginning of Army of Darkness, that portal takes him to some sort of like medieval low fantasy realm, right? Where possibly low fantasy, or high fantasy.
We went over this.
We did go over this, yes. So it's not really specific, but everybody has like a British accent, right? And there's knights, right? But there's also deadites, right? So the first thing they do is they throw him in a pit with a deadite. Oh my god! And he has a shotgun and chainsaw, so clearly he has an advantage. But he then goes from medieval times to back to the present day, right? Which is how the film ends. And it's just a bonkers movie. Like that third one, I could show to a 12-year-old because it. Yeah. This is another cat.
That's the new one.
This is the new one that farts. Yeah, but you can't hear her. You can't hear her farts because cats don't have butt cheeks. So.
We went over this. It's not. You don't fart with your butt cheeks. You fart with your sphincter.
She's got a sphincter. You can't hear it.
But that's a different. It doesn't. If you have a sphincter, that doesn't automatically mean you hear farts. It just. She has the parts available, but there must be some other reason.
All right.
I'm gonna get you one of those stupid little Japanese butthole charms for cats.
No, don't do
it's a
that.
Little, it's like a little necklace for her tail,
For
but
her
then
tail?
it's just
A little butt flap.
it's got a big, yeah, exactly.
Anyway,
That'll be our first form of marketing. Our
first-
first
our first
tradable
product.
good.
Yeah, our first fungible token. Fuck it, where was I?
Non-fungible. It'll be 1 of 1,000.
So basically, I've just spoiled 3 films in order to talk about a TV show that
Well,
the 3 films are based off
I
of.
said we don't have to. It doesn't have to be about the TV show. It
Yeah.
it could be about all of it,
Yeah.
because I'm very unaware of all of it. And there's a new movie coming out.
Yeah. So the new movie looks completely disconnected from the original movies and the TV series, right? It looks like they're going back to an actual like horror theme, horror genre.
Well, it's
And
called Rise. I think it is a prequel, right?
maybe it could be, I don't know. It looks like it takes place in the modern day, but again, looks can be deceiving. And the characters are completely new from what I can tell.
Honestly, it looked pretty scary.
No, it looks pretty scary, but what you see in the trailer, right, about like what's it say here? It's I just looked it up, right? Evil Dead Rise, which is, what do you mean no results found? How dare you? Yeah, it says the title tagline is "Mommy loves you to death," right? Which implies it's a possessed person holding her children. A twisted tale of 2 estranged sisters whose reunion is cut short by the rise of flesh-possessing demons, thrusting them into a primal battle for survival as they face the most nightmarish version of family imaginable. That's pretty much it on the dot. That's what a Deadite does. A Deadite comes in, possesses somebody, and then this person, this Deadite, begins to murder and maim and torture people. That's just the way it works, right? And the thing is, though, like, it can get pretty tired pretty quickly, right? They can do this now because it's been God knows how long since the other movies, right? But that's why, like...
Well, what was the last one? Was it the remake?
The remake was, like, the last film that came out. But, like, you can do it because that's a core... the crux of, like, the psychological horror of this franchise, of the original movies, is that, like, it's not just people possessed. Like, these are his friends. That's his sister and that's his girlfriend that are now possessed and that he's now having to put down. And it's not easy. It's not easy for him, and he doesn't know. Like, it's... The audience watching knows, like, don't trust him. Don't trust him, Ash. Just put a bullet in her face and put her down, right? But, you know, that happens in almost every zombie movie, zombie show, right? And so you get pretty tired of that quickly. So, like, the franchise evolves over time where now he's having to deal with all these Deadites and all these different places, and it's not scary anymore. So instead of, they replace the scary parts with comedy because, you know, it just gets tired after a while. Like, it doesn't remain scary. So they have to, like, break it up with levity.
You know what's happening?
What?
I still don't know much or anything about the movies. But now you're talking to me about it so much, and you're giving kind of a perspective, Ash's perspective. I'm starting to imagine you as Ash.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
I'm imagining you in this setting.
No, don't do that. I don't want to be there. Get me out of there.
Well, no, nobody wants to be there, but
Oh my god.
get me out of there.
There were a couple
Is
video games too.
Is that you making notification noises, or is that me?
I think that's you. I don't have any notification noises. I have a cat crying outside. That's about it. I don't know.
Well, I just don't want it to be in the recording, but now we've spent...
Yeah, I don't hear anything, so we're good. We've spent
I'm listening.
Approximately 20 seconds talking about this. It's okay. So the
There
TV
it is
show.
again. Who is messaging me? I don't get it.
I don't know. My phone's in my pocket. It's not me. Anyway,
Is it the group chat? Is it happening?
is it happening? No, we're both on Discord right now. We would get notifications.
It's happening, Josh.
That'd be great if it was, but it's not. We need to do more. Again, I gotta make those social media accounts. I was trying, but let's see here.
We will. I'll help.
We will.
They'll be there.
Yeah.
Technically, we have until this episode comes out to hold up my promise from last week.
That is true. And so, moving on to the TV show, right? Because by the third movie, Army of Darkness, it gets kooky. It's just a comedy, right? I can show that movie to a 12-year-old and not be worried about psychologically damaging them, because it's not really that scary, if at all. It's more of a weird fantasy adventure movie with blood and gore and an army of skeletons. And it's fun. It's just a fun movie.
How did it... Okay, you were saying they kind of... The movies went in that direction because the hardcore horror was just getting old? So they decided to add the levity to break it up and keep it interesting?
That's my perspective on it, right? Like, it's tough to do the same trick 4 times, right? So, one, they made the movie once, and then they remade the movie, right? And then by the third movie, what were they going to do next, you know? And
the fourth movie.
Well, of course, a fourth movie, but in terms of like plot and genre and story, like what were they going to do next? They literally, he already killed his sister and his girlfriend and his friends, right?
Stop.
He already did it.
We don't spoil.
I already spoiled this 40-year-old movie. It's
There's no statute of limitations on spoilers.
I think there can be for this one. And so there's really like, what else do you get into, right? So the third movie got really wacky and really comedic, but that's where the show comes in, right? Because then the show really marries the two. And the show is really good because it tries to balance the two and it tries to put it all back together, right? So the show does take place like in real time, like decades later. Ash is in the present day. He's an older man now, still missing that hand, right? He has like a prosthetic hand that he keeps instead of the chainsaw, right? He lives. What's up?
Does he have a hook?
No,
Does he have fun?
It's just, yeah, he has fun, but it's just like a wooden hand, I think.
He has fun.
Yeah, because he goes out, meets women, is a bit of like, a prick and a chauvinist. He's Johnny Bravo, right? He's Johnny Bravo missing a hand, right? And he goes out there. He still works in retail at like a big box store, like I think Kmart, Walmart, right?
Is that what he does? That's his life?
That's his life, right? Because he's just been running from the Deadites this entire time, right? He hasn't seen a Deadite in forever, but he can't
I'm getting Supernatural vibes.
Not really, because like Supernatural is like Monster of the Week, right? Ash is really this guy who's trapped in the past because he's never grieved. He's never really confronted that, if you were to dig deeper, right? But on the surface level, he's just Johnny Bravo, right? That's just what he is.
What? I'm going to end up watching this just to be annoyed by your constant like reference, the parallels you're drawing between Ash and Johnny Bravo. He can't be. No live action character could ever be Johnny Bravo. It's just too ridiculous. I don't believe it.
You'll see. You'll see. And he's just an old he's an old white guy, right? So he's inappropriate, kind of racist. He doesn't know what he's saying, right? Because he's just this guy trapped in the 70s who never grew up. And the show, at some point, does have to not necessarily force him to progress all that much, but it does force him to confront some stuff. And it brings him back into the fight against the Deadites, right? And they introduce some new characters he learns to care about, right? And once you bring in new people he can care about, then you can bring back that fear of losing them and that sort of psychological problem where I could also say that like it doesn't get that scary because it's still at its root a comedy show. You think everybody's gonna be all right. Then the show got canceled abruptly after a few seasons. And then, that's about it. But the show, for what it is really good because it tries to balance that pulp, that gore, the horror, the psychological horror, and the comedy. It tries to balance all of those things. And it does a pretty good job at it. And, oh my God, it's just so fucking funny. Like at a certain point they have to go explain. They don't have to explain. What they do is they travel back to Ash's hometown for one of the seasons, and they reveal that one of the reasons why he had to leave, why he lives in a trailer, right, and just sort of like lives on the road, was because he was blamed for the murder of those people, for his friends and family in the woods. That ultimately, like, apparently he was like never convicted or anything, but because they all went missing and nothing was ever found, but he was the only survivor. People started talking. They start to referred to him as Ashy Slashy. He became a local.
Not even Slashy Ashy.
No, just Ashy Slashy. And like there's a like nursery rhyme about him to scare children in that town. Like he is the slasher villain in his town's local folklore. And there was nothing really he could do about it, so he left, right? And him confronting, his father, who's also it's really fucking funny, who's also Johnny Bravo. It's just great. It's
God.
The show is
second Johnny Bravo.
It's great. Once like Ash meets his dad or reunites with his dad, like that's just another level, another layer of comedy there. It's just great.
I swear, if the thumbnail for this isn't Johnny Bravo.
Yeah, but I keep saying Johnny Bravo, right? I don't mean Ash is just like a douchebag. Like Ash is like Johnny Bravo, a douchebag who has to get his comeuppance every once in a while, and has to get his ass beat, and has to be like put in his place and taught a lesson, like almost all the time, because he's wrong about a lot of things. He's also right about a few things, and at the end of the day, he has to fight the evil dead, and that's what he does. And it's just a fun show. It's a fun show, but the problem was that it was on Starz, right? And Starz wasn't.
Yeah.
Starz just got started making its own original content, and it's good. Starz makes a lot of good stuff, but nobody ever watches it. Like I have to. What is it? City on a Hill.
Who's gonna pay for it?
Exactly. That's sort of the problem. But it gets. I got it bundled with Paramount Plus when I had Paramount Plus, and that was great because all of a sudden I had all these awesome shows that nobody had ever heard about, and all these movies that were just like, oh, these are premium movies. I don't have to pay $3.99 on Amazon to rent. They're just here.
It's your heaven.
It is. It's just great. We should do an episode on City on a Hill because that's got Kevin Bacon. It's great.
The bacon?
The bacon. It's got the bacon in it. He plays a dirty FBI agent. It's great.
I didn't realize how old Kevin Bacon is, but we've been watching. We were just watching TV, and one of the streaming services we've been watching it's been, how they kind of run commercials, but it's always the same commercial for a stretch of a few weeks. Yeah. So I keep seeing this commercial with Kevin Bacon
in the car,
and Kevin Bacon. I think it's the Hyundai, the Ioniq or something. Yeah. But it's Kevin Bacon and his daughter. And it makes sense he'd have a daughter. He has a wife. But I didn't realize she's also a successful actor. And she's actually the lead in Smile.
Oh, is she? Okay. That's
and I was like, wait, I feel like I recognize her. And then I remember thinking, oh, yeah, he's married to someone famous. Is that her? No, she's too young. Well, he's Kevin Bacon. He has some pull. But
no, it's his daughter.
He's married to Kira Sedgwick. Yeah. And that's just the daughter in their daughter in the commercial. Yeah, and he's just, he's just an old man in that commercial. He's like, look at my new car, sweetie. But he doesn't look old.
No, he doesn't look that old. No, but he
looks older, but
he looks older, but he's just like in that commercial especially, he's just an old dad. It's just like, it was like, look.
Which is great for Kevin Bacon.
Great for Kevin Bacon. Yeah.
Did you watch the Guardians holiday special?
I did. I skimmed forward because it's hard to watch. It's hard to watch. It's just hard to watch.
What's wrong with it?
Because that it was just like you feel, I don't know. I'm just one of those guys who I have a hard time watching some comedy scenes if they're too like, like that first season of The Office. Like I just can't watch it just because it's so cringy. And then
you don't like to cringe.
I don't like to cringe. And this comedy special, this Christmas special, was really cringy in my opinion. That's not to say it's
bad.
No, I'm not saying it was bad. I'm just saying that it was just like, like I loved it once they got Kevin Bacon in front of Peter Quill, and Peter Quill is like, "Why would you kidnap him?" Because it's all
Kevin Bacon.
It's all a horrible idea. Like all of it is horrible, and then he has to call it out. Like that's the payoff, though, right?
It's funny. Yeah,
it is. It is hilarious, but like that's the payoff to all these horrible things that happened preceding this moment, and this moment pays it all off. But it's just hard for me to watch those preceding moments. So I don't think it's bad in any way. It's just hard for me to watch. That's it. And I did enjoy it.
I'm gonna find some cringe for you to watch.
Please do not. Please.
That'll be your punishment.
We just went over Black Mirror in the last episode. All right. Did you see what the thumbnail is on the, on the last episode?
Yeah. Why didn't you put pig sex in the title?
I didn't want to. I didn't want to put pig sex in the title. Oh my god. Oh,
why did you pick a screenshot from that perspective?
That's the one that was on the internet. I just Googled
behind the Prime Minister's back. He's looking at the back of a pig.
I Googled pig Black Mirror, and that was the first thing that comes up, and it's like 5 other results, and I'm like, perfect. Can't do any better than that shot.
That's the one.
That's the one.
No, I can think of a few better ones.
No, we're not getting any worse than that one. Oh my god.
Did we talk about the fact that the Prime Minister or the Prime Minister's people tried to explore the option of hiring a porn actor to have sex with the pig, and then they were digitally going to edit the Prime Minister's face onto the actor while he's going?
Oh my god.
In real time.
It's like,
technology is amazing, but there's just no way.
No, not in that day. Deepfake, we weren't anywhere close to deepfaking properly back then. Nowadays, could be done. It could be done now. It could be.
No.
But live? Can it be done live? That's the question, right? And so,
I mean, they were claiming they could do it then. I mean, that's the point of the show. But.
Yeah. But let's see here.
What's the scariest movie you ever saw?
I can't even think. I might have blocked it out of my mind. I just
Is
don't
Evil Dead up there?
No, Evil Dead's not up there. It's not even like, again, for its time, it was scary.
Did you see the remake?
I saw the remake. Yeah, I think the remake.
Scary.
The remake was
it was pretty
very
gory.
Faithful. Yeah. The remake was very faithful to the original, I believe. But yeah, I didn't
the
find
weird
it that scary.
black snake thing just slurping up there.
That was a tree branch. Yeah.
But it turned into a snake.
Yeah, it was pretty much a vine. But like in the original movie, it's just a dry branch, which is worse. Oh my god. But scariest movie I've seen. Oh my god, I can't even think of it because I try I just don't like legitimately scary movies, you know? Like, I like thrillers, you know? I like psychological horrors. I don't like scary movies that jump out at me, right? I need to watch the Paranormal Activity films, apparently, because they're just good. And
I haven't seen them, but I heard a lot about them, too. Yeah, I think at least the first one or the first couple or
Yeah.
good. But what I heard was also you don't ever see anything. It's all just building suspense the whole movie, which isn't a bad thing. But I remember it was one of those rare movies where they made ads for the movie by showing live reactions in the theater from audiences, and then interviews directly after the showings, and then it's just people like, oh, it's the scariest thing I've ever seen, I had to leave, my dad fainted, I almost passed out, I threw up. It's just...
When I hear that, I won't watch it. I just won't watch it. And then somebody else, inevitably, like 3 weeks later, somebody I know will come and was like, yeah, it wasn't even that scary. I'm like, you have no emotion. Shut up. Like, it's, I don't know. Like, that's
okay,
it.
well,
I heard the same thing about Hereditary, right? And I'm not going to watch Hereditary. Like,
well, that's a different area of horror.
Yeah. But I heard
it's much more psychological.
Yeah. I heard it was horrifying. I'm like, I don't want to watch that. That doesn't sound like fun. And then
I actually haven't seen it. I really need to.
Apparently, Midsommar is also scary, but I think that's also psychological horror.
It's the same creator as Hereditary.
Is it? Oh boy.
The same filmmakers, I think.
Oh boy. Yeah,
they're both A24.
Yeah.
Or are they Blumhouse? Yeah,
no,
I'm pretty sure it's the same director.
Yeah, pretty sure it's A24.
Yeah, but those get mentioned in the same breath all the time because, they're very similar, and then I'm pretty sure it's the same director.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen either, although I do need to. Florence Pugh.
Yeah, Florence Pugh.
She's blowing up.
Yep. But going back to The Evil Dead, what else can I say about The Evil Dead? It's fun. That's all it is. It's fun.
Josh.
What?
Will you watch Evil Dead Rise with me?
I probably will. I probably will have to close my eyes and cover my ears at parts because I don't want to. I'm pretty sure there's like a small knife or a razor or like nails in the trailer, and I'm just like,
well, that's just that's the thing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, how did you watch that scene? Okay, again, all I've seen is the remake of Evil Dead, but how did you watch the glass pieces? How did you watch that?
I covered my eyes.
Oh, you didn't watch it.
I didn't watch it. I covered my eyes like and then the remake. Yeah, again, the remake tried to up the ante, right? Tried to modernize it, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that, right? Just like the originals, they're not scary like that. They are. They could have been in the time they were at, but like in the second one, pretty sure it's the second one, not the first one. The taxidermied like deer head, right, on the wall starts moving and starts laughing at Ash, and just starts like.
Of course it does.
Yeah, but then like the way it's like zooms in and out on that thing, and then on Ash, like that's when Ash loses his mind, right? And he just sort of gives up because it's not just that thing laughing; it's everything's moving, and then everything feels like it's laughing. So he's just laughing, and
so he's on a bad trip.
That's what it looks like. It just looks like a horrifying trip, and that's just fun to watch. That's really, it's more fun than anything else, in my book. And then he has to cut off his hand and then replace it with a chainsaw, and then.
Do they show him cutting off his hand?
Yeah, for the most part. Like he has to like, it's all props, right? So he has to like take a saw and saw it off slowly, or was that the first one? And then the second one, he uses the chainsaw to cut off his hand. I don't remember. That chainsaw comes into play, though. Eventually, he has to like use that chainsaw. He uses the chainsaw to, which doesn't make sense. He uses the chainsaw to shorten the barrel on the shotgun at a certain point, I believe, and which, again, does not make sense. Because
it's don't cut through those.
Exactly, and it's a clean cut too. Doesn't make any sense, but still, it's pulp at that point.
Well, he's Johnny Bravo.
Yeah, he's Johnny Bravo, and then he just looks cool. He is just like the lone. He's up there with. It's like him and Doom Guy, but Doom Guy's just so much more powerful. Like it's when it comes to the guys going to hell and just fighting demons, it's him and Doom Guy that are there, and it's just fun.
Now you're comparing him to Doom Guy?
I'm not what he does is like combine Doom Guy with Johnny Bravo, and there you go. There you have Ash.
No, I don't want to. You're ruining Doom.
I'm not ruining Doom. The Doom guy had literally 90% devoid of personality, right? That's all he is.
That's his personality.
Devoid of personality. That's all he is, on a mission, right? Ash is a guy who does not want to fight demons. He's like, leave me alone. And
Why
the demons
do they
keep
target
coming.
him? Why is he so involved in this?
Because of stupid shit like prophecies and, the ultimate warrior and whatnot.
Of course.
That he doesn't want to be. That classical, hero's journey stuff, right?
Damn it, so he is Doom guy.
He is Doom guy, and then again there's doppelgangers after him. Like because he also traveled through time, like he's considered like this, or dimensions, I don't know. Again, he's just written about. He's written about in the Book of the Dead, and then the demons know to either go to him or avoid him, and they usually end up challenging him in some way, right?
Are you sure this isn't Supernatural?
Yeah, no, it is, because Supernatural is way more complicated.
Well, yeah, because it was a much bigger show.
Yeah, it's a much bigger show.
It was a CW show.
We can do a whole episode on Supernatural. How much of Supernatural have you seen?
All of it.
All of it? Okay, because
I met the cast.
Oh, that's right. You met the cast. You met the cast. Anyway.
I got their autographs.
But yeah, so I did not watch the ending to Supernatural because I didn't want it to end.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's about it. I just didn't watch the ending. Do they kill God?
Yeah. No. That's fine.
They killed God, didn't they?
I can't tell you that. We don't spoil on this show.
True. I know who dies. Anyway, so
God's a little bitch.
Of course he is. He's a writer. Anyway,
you're a writer.
I am a writer. Whatever. Or I wanted to be. I wanted to be. Anyway, no, Evil Dead is not as complicated as Supernatural, because Supernatural has to deal with like not just one folklore, but all of the culture's folklore.
Yeah, I'm not saying it is as complicated. I'm just saying the parts of Supernatural that are involved in similar stuff, like demons and the dead and that kind of stuff. It's very similar. Like trips into hell to fight demons and
at a certain point,
roaming Americana.
A couple seasons into Ash vs. the Evil Dead, then there's demons who are like fully speaking, that are just like, okay, that's a person who's a demon, but they look normal, they act normal, right? They're just actually have murderous intent, right? Like, I love that whole episode where Lucifer's just trapped on Earth with no powers. Love that episode of Supernatural.
I feel like that happened a couple of times.
It might have happened a couple of times, but there was one where he was like back in his like other body, right? His original body, quote unquote original. But this time he had like no power. Like, he tries to like explode a lady with a snap and it doesn't work. And he's just like, the hell? And he's just stuck as a homeless man for an episode. It's great.
Lucifer stuck as a human. That is funny.
Stuck as a human on Earth as a bum. It's great. But yeah, you have a sort of similar thing where you got demons, not as high, not name dropping Lucifer or anything, but you got like other powerful demons in the show, and
Lucifer's not a demon.
He's a fallen
He's
angel.
an angel.
Anyway, demons are fallen angels. Anyway,
no, they're not.
Yeah, they are.
Aren't they corrupted souls of humans?
Demons? Well, later. Anyway, I don't know. Let's give up on this. Anyway, it's two different shows, two different mythos, right? And the show's just fun. The show's fun. It's
Sinister.
Sinister. What about Sinister?
That's one of the scariest movies I've seen.
What's that one about?
Basically the boogeyman. But it's not a new story at all, but it's just pretty well done. I maybe it was just the setting in which I watched it for the first time, but I watched it again and it still creeps me out. It's the boogeyman, but he will kill off an entire family by possessing the kids, and then it's about like he makes a movie out of it.
Yeah.
So this family moves into this house where this other family was killed.
Yeah.
And the dad stumbles upon an old box of stuff, and there's an old film movie, like a homemade home movie in there, and he watches it, and that's how it transfers to them, and they become possessed too.
Yeah.
But then in the movie, it's got recordings, like clips of the children killing their families. It's pretty dark.
That's basically how the Evil Dead works. It starts with like one possession until either they're all dead or all possessed, and that's basically, it's an invasion, is what it is. That's the core of it, and it begins to happen on Earth, and that's when sort of Ash is called back into action for the show, right? And then they have to start to piece together. But then, because it's a TV show, you'll see the connections or the similarities to Supernatural, especially. It goes like, oh, we need this special weapon that's really good at killing demons, right? We need this one MacGuffin or book or whatever
There's always a MacGuffin.
It's always a MacGuffin.
MacGuffins are so good at killing demons.
MacGuffins are great at killing demons, right?
They're also very bad at killing demons.
I'm still very annoyed that, like, at one point, Sam in Supernatural, Sam had Thor's hammer, and then nothing ever happened with it. Like, he literally he holds it, picks it up, kills a demon. He's at a demon auction, right? Where he's looking at a demon who was bidding on that hammer with 1/5 of aversion, right? And he looks at the demon. He's about to let the demon go because this demon in particular is sort of a bystander in the incidents. And then Sam, while wielding Thor's hammer, goes, "Where'd you get the 1/5 of a virgin?" And then the demon freezes up, like, and he just smites him there. And then nothing happens. Where's the hammer, Sam? That's a pretty powerful weapon.
I'm sure Thor took it back.
No, he didn't. Thor was never once mentioned, other than that in the rest of the show.
Yeah, but I think it's safe to assume Thor wants his hammer back. I'm sure he took it back.
Oh my god! I'm just saying, he had Thor's hammer and nothing fucking happened with it.
What do you mean he smote a demon?
He smote a couple demons, and then what? Like, you just forgot it? When he
they
clearly
had bigger things.
There are so many problems he could have solved with that hammer.
It was alone.
Forward. It was not alone. That was like season 12 or something. There's so many demons, so many problems he could have solved, right? Where the devil was running for president.
And what? Thor's hammer is going to solve that?
That show is so ridiculous.
What?
Evil Dead could have gone that far, but it did not have a long enough life to do wacky shit like that. But I just remembered. I just remembered that the devil ran for president.
Yeah, doesn't he win? Doesn't he become president?
He does. He becomes president. Well, he possesses the guy running for president, right?
Yeah, and then he's president.
Then he's president. Then he knocks up a lady, right?
Then he starts making baby.
He makes a baby on accident. And then he's like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna be a dad!" And then Lucifer's just excited about being a dad, and it's weird. And
I remember this.
Oh my god, it was such a weird fucking show. I'm about done with the Evil Dead. Watch it, folks. The Evil Dead show is Ash vs. the Evil Dead. Really fun if you like, pulp, gore, comedy. A little bit of horror. And if you like Supernatural,
means.
Yeah, if you like Supernatural, you'll like Ash vs. the Evil Dead, right? If you need just a little bit more, right? Comedy, gore, some over-the-top acrobatics where, people are losing limbs and flying. Like, if you wanted Supernatural but gorier, like, that's Ash vs. the Evil Dead, right? That's probably the best way to surmise it.
Yeah,
right?
That was always my complaint.
What? Not enough gore, not enough...
not nearly enough gore.
Not enough people flying and, like, ragdolling. There's a lot of ragdolling in the show. All right. So that's today's episode. If you enjoyed this episode, please, like, subscribe, follow, subscribe. I said that twice. wherever you can. If you're listening to this on Spotify, you can follow us on Spotify. You could, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can comment, and if you'd like to, get into the discussion, mention another, pulpy, funny show that you think we should talk about or watch, leave us a message on our Discord server, the group chat. It's going to be linked in the description. I don't have the script. Should I just wing the outro, or do you want to
Wait. Yes.
Just wing the outro?
Yes.
This has been Consumed Content. Bye. I don't have anything.
How was that winging it? What was that? You got stupid little chicken wings. No. Start recording again. Well, fine. They can just hear me. This has been Consumed Content. Thanks for listening to us talk about Shadow and Bone. Bye.